Hello, everyone. Give me just a second. Let me get stuff fixed here. I don't know if I've got my sound correctly or not. Oh, just a second. Come here, Bubba.
Okay,
Okay,
I
I
hope you
hope you
guys
guys
are
are
ready
ready
to
to
see. Sorry, guys.
because, of course, I'm having sound issues. I'll have them done in like 1 minute. We know we go through this every time. I'm sorry. Okay, are you guys able to hear me at all? Are you all able to hear me? Awesome. Are you getting a lot of echoing or any of the background noise? Because I do have the baby in the room with one of his shows. Okay, awesome. So if you all can hear me, I'll go ahead and get started. Um, just ahead of time, you all know my kids and my dogs, they're loud, and today I'm all by my lonesome with them. So we're going to hear a little noise. So if I mute, you know why. But at any rate, we are here because we've been looking into this case. Me and Darkness Exposed has. She was supposed to be here, but she had some things come up. And as we all do from time to time, life happens. But I'm so glad to see you in chat. And we've been looking through this case out of Alabama. Y'all, it's some of the craziest stuff I've ever read. And we come by crazy cases all the time. I know this. But this one is, oh, it's just, I can't do it. Can't do it. So where I want to start off here, they did hold a press conference yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and play that press conference for you all. And we'll get started. Okay. Just a second and I'll get the sound fixed on it, guys. So I was making sure it was on the screen.
And also DHR, along with Child Advocacy Center and our EMA. It's been a joint effort. Yesterday, about 8:26, our office received a call of a young juvenile female walking in the roadway in the area of 3547 County Road 34. I think most of you have been to the scene. During the initial investigation, from the information that we received and collected, we were able to arrest a Jose Paulino Pascul-Reyes, this same address of 3547 County Road 34, for kidnapping in the first degree. And he was arrested in Auburn, Somerville Circle, by the Marshal Service in the Auburn Police Department. During this investigation, overnight investigation, processing the residence, we have found located 2 decomposed bodies that were found and currently at the Department of Forensic Sciences pending the identification. This time, my district attorney, Mr. Jerry Durr, will make some additional comments in regards to the charges.
Thanks, Sheriff. Thank y'all for coming out. At this time, we're looking at multiple counts of capital murder along with kidnapping in the first degree. And of course, once we continue and finish our investigation, I feel certain that several more charges will follow. Thank you.
We will entertain a few questions in regards to, this is a very fluid investigation. Things are changing, and we do not want to jeopardize the identity of our juvenile until we get other information for forensic sciences. It'll be limited in giving you that information. So we have FBI with us here, also the DA's office, and also EMA as well. Chief Deputy Fred White, y'all been dealing with us yesterday. So hats off to them that they've been around the clock. We're still processing the scene. We'll probably be there the rest of the day with assistance of FBI. So I'll entertain a few questions. Be limited, please.
Rosanna Smith with WSFA. You are releasing the relation between that 12-year-old and the person in custody, and do you all know anything regarding your relationship?
We're not at that stage to be able to release that information, the kinship or relationship. We do not want to infringe on what's going on behind the scenes. Thank you.
Sheriff, according to court documents, this 12-year-old juvenile was tied to a bedpost for about a week, was drugged allegedly with alcohol, but somehow was able to chew herself free from those restraints, get out into that road, and flag down help. Can you confirm that information that is in the court documents, and what do you want to say about this 12-year-old's perseverance, sir?
First of all, what stands in the affidavit, we stand by that affidavit to be able to procure the kidnapping warrants. And I would say she's a hero, and it's one of those things that we want to get into later. We gave her medical attention, and she's safe now, and so we want to keep her that way. And that's basically all I can actually say.
Have you been able to locate any of her family members?
But we're not going to get into that right now.
He said that you expected additional charges. Is that because you expect to find additional bodies, or have you found additional bodies besides the two that you just mentioned?
I will say that we expect additional charges just based on interviewing all participants. That we feel that more charges will follow these.
And there was, as far as I know, there was no missing persons report out for this juvenile. Am I mistaken in that, or was nobody really looking for her?
Now, the first contact we had with her was yesterday morning when a passerby was able to stop with her, and they reported to us, so she was not considered a missing person.
Sheriff, the two decomposing bodies, do you know how long they had been there? What location of the mobile home were they found? And do you know if they are related to the little girl?
All this pending identifications and devices. I'm not going to get into where they were found or who they are at this time. I hope you understand.
How difficult is it to handle a situation involving a young child like this?
As always, it's horrendous to have a crime scene of this nature and also a 12-year-old juvenile to deal with it. It's a horrendous situation, that we deal with every day.
Do you all have an update on his or her condition, the 12-year-old's condition?
She's doing well.
The suspect, where is he right now?
He's in our facility. We'll have a bond hearing for him on the first charge of kidnapping first degree, and then the additional charges will be a bond hearing by our district judge, Kim Taylor.
Has he given any statements to police?
We can't reveal that.
Do you know how long they had lived in that residence?
Probably since February of 2022 is the best information that we've actually been able to gain through the investigation.
Did he live alone, or did he live with other people?
There was other people at the residence, and that's basically all I can give you right now.
In court documents, his driver's license wasn't given in public record. Is he a documented resident?
That information, we're not working on that now with Homeland Security. You see, I told you Homeland Security is working with us, but we're actually working on that.
When do you think you'll be able to provide additional information?
Probably by the end of the week is what we're hoping to do. We're waiting on forensic scientists to come back with identification, so they're working hastily on that as we speak.
What time was she located on the road?
We received the report at 8:26 a.m. yesterday morning.
In the morning. And what do you want to say about, I understand it was a driver that located her and called for help. What do you want to say about that motorist?
You know, we always say something, say something. And it's one of those things that, you know, you really don't know what you're actually doing, but you're helping that young child when you're stopping there. You volunteer your services to do that. So we're very appreciative of the people that actually came forward and identifying and notifying us.
And mentally, this will be my last question. How are you and your staff holding up? I understand it's quite a horrific scene.
They're tired of persevering. They've done an excellent job. You know, you put away your tiredness, you put away everything else, and focus on having the results of this by arresting someone and charging someone. So that's how we look at it.
Are you all going to, is there a way for us to get a mugshot of the individual?
We'll be more than glad to give you this photograph, or we can, if you will provide an email to us, we'll be glad to send it to you, ever how you'd like to have it.
Did you all release the age of the suspect? The age of the suspect?
37.
Is there anybody still living in the house, in the mobile home right now? Besides
No one is there except us. We're still processing the scene.
did you find anybody alive inside that mobile home other than the two deceased that you found? Did you find anybody else inside that home?
No, we didn't. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you hey, let's do this. If you my email is Jimmy JIMMY ABBETT @Yahoo. If you will send me your email, I will make sure our dispatch gets it and we'll forward you this photograph. Okay?
Can you say that email one more time?
It's Jimmy JIMMY ABBETT @Yahoo.com. If you'll send that to me, we'll make sure that we get the mugshot to you quickly, okay?
Do I have sound now? Had you guys not been hearing me that whole time? Oh, jeez. I swear. I'll be okay, guys. I'll make it through this, I promise. You all might not figure out much. I'm here talking to myself without the sound on it. Oh, thank you all. I was on a roll. That's good, though. I can reel myself back in and act like I'm a calm, cool, collected lady because I was going on a rant there for a minute. So maybe it was meant to be that went on mute. Okay, I don't know how long I was muted, but I assumed that whole time when I pulled up that article. So we're getting into the Daily Mail article that they put out. I felt like this was one of the better articles that they put out on this crime. Before we get started, trigger warning. I think it's all familiar faces in here, so you all know I'm blunt and we discuss true crime in full detail over here. So if that's the sort of thing that bothers you, you may want to go ahead and leave right now and come back later when we're discussing missing cases at the end and more less graphic details because this is a hard one. And if you leave, I understand. I just ask that you come back later to see these missing faces. But at any rate, we'll get started here on this. As I said, this is from the Daily Mail. Okay, Jose Paulino Pascul-Reyes, 37, was arrested on Tuesday for kidnapping. Oh, sir, are you mad about it? Hang on. He's mad about it, guys. You come read with mommy? He didn't like the sounds of that either. Okay, so Jose Reyes, 37, was arrested on Tuesday for kidnapping, capital murder, and abuse of a corpse after a 12-year-old girl was found on the road. The girl, who was not identified by police, was found on County Road 34 in Tallapoosa County around 8:30 a.m. on Monday. A motorist picked the girl up on the side of the road and immediately called 911. She was allegedly assaulted, drugged with alcohol, and tied to a bedpost by Reyes during her week-long captivity. After authorities arrived at Reyes' mobile home on Tuesday, police discovered 2 decomposing bodies. There were reportedly other people inside the home when police arrived, but it is unclear if they will be charged. Okay, the only way, I'll just go ahead and say this, that they shouldn't be charged is if they do not have the ability to see, hear, or smell, because I'm pretty sure everything that's mentioned that was going on in this home, for you to have 2 decomposing bodies, you're going to have some smells. You have a 12-year-old girl tied up, regardless of the amount of drugs you give her, there are going to be some sounds. It's a trailer. You don't exactly have privacy in these small homes. I mean, shoot, guys, I was in a trailer when I was younger. My family, we don't come from much. But, yeah, you have no privacy. You have no privacy. So if there were more than 3 people in a 2-3-bedroom trailer, they knew what was going on there. They knew. So I don't see how, unless they were just little children. Little children. That's the only thing. That's the only excuse, little children. Because if they were adults sitting in there, that's bad. Okay, it says a 12-year-old girl escaped from her kidnapper who tied her to a bedpost and drugged her with alcohol by chewing through her restraints. Her escape led police to find 2 decomposed bodies in his home. Jose Paulino Pascul-Reyes, 37, has been charged with first-degree kidnapping, 2 counts of capital murder, and 2 counts of abuse of a corpse in Dadeville, Alabama on Tuesday. Yeah, trailers are deaf. That's right, checking. They're not soundproof at all. So somebody new, they're not soundproof at all. There's no way. Even the new ones they're making with drywall and stuff that's like homes, those homes are just too small. There's no way. You can't conceal things in those. One knows, they all know. I mean, shoot, every time my little brother, back when we was teenagers and stuff, when we lived in a 3-bedroom trailer, as teenagers, we couldn't even sneak and smoke a cigarette, or light it up on one end and mom could smell it on the other. So, just stuff like that. Those trailers, they're not, they knew what was going on. I want to say, that the girl who was not identified by police was found by a motorist around 8:30 a.m. on Monday while she was walking down County Road 34 after picking up the child. The driver immediately called 911. She was reportedly assaulted, drugged with alcohol, and tied to a bedpost during her week-long captivity, and only managed to escape by chewing through her restraints, damaging her braces. Okay, I never had braces, and it shows, but I never had braces. I had friends that had braces. My daughter's getting ready to get some orthodontic work done. And man, they put them things on there. You know, I have nieces with braces. Those suckers are put on there to stay. Can you imagine chewing through rope, fabric, whatever he had this poor child tied up with? Could you imagine chewing so long on something that it started to rip that metal and glue? I mean, and here is the craziest detail of all to me. The girl was not reported missing, according to the New York Times. Exactly, checking. Exactly. That's the one that gets me too. They, how? I have a 13-year-old. If I haven't heard from her in 1 hour, I'm on her like stinking shit. So I couldn't imagine how this kid can be missing for a week and no one's reported her. And it, you know, of course, they haven't released any names or something. And I discussed this with a few of you all, and I think we're all thinking kind of the same. Maybe they're undocumented, you know, or something of that nature. I don't know. I'm trying to think of reasons why. And unless her parents are involved, whoever her guardians are, that's really the only thing that makes sense to me. Because nothing else can really explain why you haven't reported your 12-year-old missing after a week. Oh, look at that. That is the face of evil in it. Ugh. It's always these goofy looking. I don't even want to call him what I want to call him. I won't get started on that rant again. You guys got scared from it when I hit my mute button earlier, so I'll leave it at that. I'll take that as a sign from the universe to scroll past him, but he makes my blood boil. I'll say that. There's a picture of that trailer. At the most, I would say that's a 3-bedroom trailer, but probably a 2. It's a single wide, so yeah. Let's see. I'm just reading that chat. Exactly. Yeah, we don't. There's some reason for it, and I would almost bet that the other adults living in that home were her parents, maybe the other adults that they found, or something. I don't know, but still, how to get the kidnapping charges if her parents were there? So nope. Yeah, there's a reason behind it. I just wonder. I'll be interested to see what comes out. Okay, let's see. Ooh, there's County Road 34. I looked at it a little bit on Google Maps, and honestly, it doesn't look much different than a lot of areas we have in my area. It's not really a city, and it's not really what I would call out in the boonies. But I can see how. I don't see how with people in the house he go with it. I guess coming from, come on, Bubba, coming from a similar area or a similar geographic area, and the way the houses are placed and stuff in that area, I can see how he could get away with that, and just whoever's at his house know, though. Is that the way you feel about it, Avery? You said you were pretty close, about 15 minutes away. I know it looks pretty similar to the outskirts of my county, and there's roads out there that looks like County Road 34 where they're traveled, but then there's places off to themselves where people stay out of your business, you know. Oh, somebody wearing short skirts. Oh, got you. Okay, yeah. Let's see, let's go a little further here. Authorities did not indicate whether or not the pair knew each other or how she was taken. However, they did report that she was safe now and had received medical attention. Just a second, guys. Sorry about that. You guys are going to hear screams randomly. Bubba is now to his stage where he doesn't want to say his words, but he wants to scream every time he wants something. He has really high-pitched girly scream. It's hilarious. I love it. Okay, so them not reporting that how she was, how they knew each other makes me wonder if this is a family situation or something a little more. So, but that'll all come out, I hope. They go on to say, we want to keep it that way. Tallapoosa County Sheriff Jimmy Abbott said at the press conference this week that Abbott also described the girl as a hero and said they couldn't release much information in order to protect the child. Thank you. No. The following day, Reyes was arrested by state marshals and the Auburn Police Department after state, local, and federal investigators worked to identify him, and he was taken to Tallapoosa County Jail. Okay, so now I do have a question, Avery, if you're still in the chat there, because I looked a little bit about where the County Highway 34 was out there and stuff like that, but so I take it that the trailer where he committed the crime at is in Tallapoosa County, and he was found at a different location, like away from the trailer, but close by, like in a neighboring community, maybe? Am I understanding that right? Yeah, I was in court one time. They're kind of strict up here in Kentucky, too, and I watched them take my ex-husband's ex-wife and put her for contempt of court for wearing booty shorts and a spaghetti strap shirt. So they mean business in the courtroom sometimes. Okay. See if that was the end of the story. Okay. While searching his mobile home, authorities discovered 2 decomposing bodies. The bodies were sent to the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences for identification. There were other residents in the home when police arrived at the scene on Tuesday, but Abbott did not say whether or not they would be charged too. Reyes is now awaiting a bond hearing. What a freaking joke. I think it is high time, and I know it doesn't agree with our justice system, and we have to be sure we're getting the right person before we punish people. But in these cases where they're saying we have this man who kidnapped this girl and there's 2 more dead bodies in his home, we got to schedule him a bond hearing. I would say he doesn't qualify for a bond hearing, sir. Go ahead and send him to the hokey pokey where he belongs. Let him have a fair trial. Yeah, I agree with that. When a man's life's on the line, let him have a fair trial. You know, the prosecutors do their job, bring up the evidence, let him get the right punishment, use the trial for that. But the bond hearing stuff makes me sick in these cases. Okay, Homeland Security is helping the local department with the investigation. And I'm sure we can all deduct from that Homeland Security is probably involved to see if he is actually a legal resident or a legal citizen or not, I would think. Oh, that poor baby. Gives me cold chills to see that road. There, we already seen Sheriff Jimmy Abbott, who is excellent, guys. What I love so much about that press conference is he said, see something, say something. He is helping spread that word, and he is showing us how it works in real time. So that I really like him because he said that. Honestly, guys, I don't know much about the man, but that caught my attention. Has he been arrested yet? I do have some court docs I'm getting ready to pull up. But as far as how far they've made it into it, I don't know. I do believe earlier, Darkness, she's the one actually who's been researching a lot of this. About everything I know is stuff that she sent me that I've been digging into on it. I know Darkness said that she believes that the bond amounts was redacted, so maybe they have arraigned him. I'm not sure, but we'll know soon. me just a second here. I'm pulling up a couple documents to share the screen. Absolutely. I'll tell you what I feel in my gut. I feel in my gut that what has happened, I won't tell you exactly what all, but I'll tell you what I truly feel like, that they are undocumented citizens. I feel like probably the 12-year-old is, and possibly the victims as well. That would make sense while no one would report them, because I couldn't imagine being in another country illegally and something happening to my child and you're scared to go to the cops, because I mean, I don't know how that works, of course. I didn't ever think that just if you were illegally here and go to the cops that you get deported over stuff like that. I thought you actually had to commit a crime to get the ball on something like that rolling, or it seems that way in my area. But I guess, if this isn't your home country and you're here illegally and something happens to your children or your loved ones, the last people you're going to is the cops. Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. Which doesn't mean, I know that doesn't mean that she's not a citizen. I just figured that possibly her family was undocumented, or she herself was, because of this. Here, I'm going to go ahead and pull the court docs that Darkness exposed so nicely let me use here. Because Lord knows I've had a lot going on and I haven't had much time to dig, guys. Had a couple deaths in the family. The baby's teething again. My third child is needy. Typical life. And when I say my third child, I mean my husband, so I don't think I'm talking my kids down here. ICE is investigating his citizenship. Yeah, I thought that's what you had said. I just didn't want to give too many details because I didn't want to misspeak it. One second, Bubba. You didn't want your bottle? Okay, let me see which one to pull up first. Okay, I'll pull up the warrant first and we'll look over that, guys. Let me share my screen now that I found it. Right. So, Ruby Pearl Labor True Crime Podcast, they will not say where he's from yet. But in a way, I think they kind of do by saying that Homeland Security is involved as in Darkness said that ICE was involved, that kind of thing. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to try the screen sharing stuff within my email. If I show my own sensitive information, if one of you all could nicely let me know in the chat, I would appreciate that. I don't have my glasses in the room with me, and I don't want to leave to go find them, so I'm not sure what I'm showing or not, but I can see just enough to read the words, so we're in business. Okay. So here is the okay, so here's the warrant of arrest. Let you guys look at that there. I'll read when I find something pertinent as I'm going through it here. So as you can, yes, honey, I know. Okay, I'm going to put this up to where it can be seen on the screen. I'm going to step away for 1 minute to get him a snack, and I will be right back. Okay, I apologize about that. Right. I'm just going through the chat real quick to see if I missed anything or if anything happened while I was gone. Absolutely. Family always comes first. Always, always, always. I was wondering. Yeah, you're the one. I was talking with Darkness. We was talking about his bond, and of course, I'm always bitching about bonds, and she had mentioned that it was redacted. So it makes me wonder why. I mean, I know some of you all in here have far more experience than I do in reading court documents and can kind of read between the lines. But what does it mean when they black out, when they redact the actual bond amount? Does that mean that there is an amount there? Does that mean that this piece of shit got a bond? Does it mean this piece of shit got a bond so low we don't want to see it? They're afraid it'll cause outrage. I mean, I don't know, but I can only assume. What do you all think? M13 gang, I hear about that, but I don't really ever look too much into any of the gangs and stuff that has to do with any anything outside of our country or anything really to do with any other races because I just avoid stuff like that. It gets too heated for me, so I stay away. But I wonder, I definitely do. Hmm. Yeah, I do wonder why the U.S. Marshals are involved. What makes, let's see if we can get any answers, just to see what makes a case, eligible for the Marshals to pick up. Why would US? So the first thing Google says, and this is Google, guys, so this is not me, this is not my knowledge. Some of you all in the chat probably have more knowledge than I do on this, and if you do know why the marshals come into a investigation usually, let me know and we'll share it with everybody else. Google says that local and state police often have too much on their plates and can't dedicate time and resources necessarily to catching a particular criminal. In this situation, they turn to the marshals. So I guess that's saying possibly in that in areas where they don't have a lot of resources, they'll come out and help. So I don't know. Maybe that's why. Um, but still, they're for like fugitive investigations. So of course that makes me wonder. That would be why. Yeah. Oh, now you've got me going down a rabbit hole while I'm live, Avery. I'll stop though, guys. I won't go down that rabbit hole live. I'm going to leave that for later. Okay, most likely doesn't have a bond. So when they redact the amount, they can redact a zero amount. I mean, is that typical? I'm not questioning if they do. I believe you. But I wonder if I didn't know if that was common practice. That's true too. But one thing that makes me wonder about that is if he brought her across the border, then he had to do that. They said she was there for a week, so he kidnapped her a week ago, held her in the house for a week, and was caught. But beforehand, he left. Okay, would he have left a trailer that he lived in out there in Alabama? Would he leave that trailer with two decomposing bodies, possibly? I assume they were at that time because the way they talk about this crime, it wasn't just people in there who had been passed for a week. They were decomposing bodies that they had to remove. And it was very graphic details in reading that, guys, but it was a serious thing. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a possibility, but I'm just kind of leaning towards they were already here and they knew each other previously. That's me too. I would really, it's going to really shock me if he doesn't have a bond. But then again, if I don't know how any of this works, if he's, an undocumented citizen, do they get bonds? How do they organize that? That maybe that's something that we could all look into and kind of figure out, because this is the first case like this that I've ever took a deep dive into, so I'm not sure what the normal is for it. And I'm not even sure that's the case. He may not be an undocumented citizen. That's just the best thing that I can assume at this point. Federal crime. So in any federal crime, they can get involved. Okay, so it's probably redacted because the bond is pending. Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. Honey, we're all just guessing at this point. It's part of the... That's true, too. It made me wonder if he didn't have other charges somewhere, because you don't just start, having decomposing bodies in your house, kidnapping 12-year-olds, drugging them. Like, this man has done some things in his life. I think we'll all be shocked if it ever comes out what all he really is guilty of. I would hope not. Okay. Oop. Okay. Okay, there's his name, Jose Pascul-Reyes. 37, Hispanic male. Shows there where they arrested him at 5 p.m. on August the 1st. Let me pull up the deposition next. See what we got here. I think I'm going through these backwards. Sorry, guys. I'm always backwards. Yeah, they'd about have to keep him in jail to protect him, especially with the details that came out in this one. Okay, so there you can see the kidnapping, first degree. There's County Road 34 address where they found him at. If anybody wants to go look up I'm a Google Maps person, so if anybody wants to go to Google Maps and kind of check out the area and try to revisit her steps that afternoon when she got out. So down here where it says details of offense, it said did on or about July 24th, 2022, abduct, and then they have the name redacted, with the intent to inflict physical injury upon him, her, or violate or abuse sexually, and did so by restraining with restraints to bedpost for approximately 1 week, gave the victim alcohol to keep the victim in a drugged state, as well as assault her in the head area. Victim further had broken braces from chewing out of her restraints. Deputies observed marks on the victim's wrist indicative of being restrained. Lord, like I said earlier, I can't remember if that's when I muted myself or not, but I think it was after. But man, that poor child, I couldn't imagine chewing through something until braces disconnected from my teeth or tore up. Yeah, it's tough stuff. It just leaves more questions reading stuff like this. Now I want to start digging what his past was like and where he was at and what unsolved crimes they have in that area and who's been missing, because somebody like this, he started to get his pattern down is what I think. Like, he done knows he's got to tie her up or she'll run away. So that means that he's done had one before that ran on him. He done knows he better give her a little alcohol to put her to sleep, because he's already had one before, that's fall back or the noises, that's the way I see it. Or he could be a very careful man. I don't know. But a lot of times stuff like this just leaves me with more questions. Yeah. Yeah, poor child. He took her childhood away. He definitely did. I had mine took for less. I couldn't imagine. But hopefully she turns it into power and helps others. Let's see, let me go to the next document over here, maybe. Okay, and then the next one is the complaint. Before me, the undersigned authority personally appeared this day, the undersigned complaint, who upon first being duly sworn, something on oath that he or she has probable cause for believing and does believe that Jose Reyes, defendant, whose name is otherwise unknown to the complainant, did prior to the communication of this action on or about July 24th at 12 a.m. commit the offense of first-degree kidnapping. Kidnapping first degree on or about 7/24 of 2022, abducted, and then they have the name redacted, with the intent to inflict physical injury upon him or her, or violate or abuse sexually, and did so by restraining, then they redacted the name, with restraints to bedposts for approximately 1 week, gave the victim alcohol to keep the victim in a drug state, as well as assault her in the head area. Victim further had broken braces from chewing out of her restraints. Deputies assert marks on the victim's wrist indicative of being restrained. I just had to read that again, guys. It's one of those things that's shocking to read, it's shocking to hear. Just had to read it again. I'd say either myself or Darkness or some of my other people will be going live, I would think, later on, or, well, not later on today, probably tomorrow. I do know some more documents are out. I just don't want to be the a-hole that goes and tries to grab them and release everything. And also, I'm not the one who's comfortable with being the first one to say if it was children or adults or whoever it was. I would rather that come out from somewhere else after I've done seen it in a news article, if that makes any sense. But I have seen in some private conversations rumors that documents are out, more court documents, maybe, I don't know. But anyways, documentation is out that gives you a little more detail. However, I just don't have that information in front of me right now, or something that I can reference to. Yeah, he did. He planned it out. It was definitely premeditated. It does, reading that gave me code chills, thinking about how it changes her life. I know a lot of you all are probably the same. Trauma happened to me in my childhood that wasn't quite appropriate. And I mean, even at 36 years old, my husband still pays for that today. There's times that I snap on that man for stuff that he does. That doesn't mean anything. It's just something that reminds me of my abuser, that triggers my PTSD, and he has no idea what he's done for me to be so mad. So, I definitely feel for her. I just really, really hope, regardless of any citizenship status, that she gets help and treatment and she gets somewhere safe, because she'll need all those things to have a fighting chance. Oh yeah, I haven't. My head's been hurting quite a bit. I'm a crier, guys. When people pass, I cry. So I've been crying a lot. Where I've had a couple deaths in my family, and my head's been hurting a little. So I haven't been reading a whole lot. I've been kind of relying on a couple people that I chat with to keep me caught up on this one. But that would make sense. Yeah, the February 2022, I've seen that date somewhere. Let me go over here and look at my email. I think I emailed another article, and it made me question the February date. Watch me not be able to find it. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Uh, who knows? That's what we can assume, but I don't know. So I have a question. So maybe some of you um, that maybe has been following true crime cases a little longer than I have and know how these things usually play out. When it is someone, say, and I'm not saying that this is the case in this case, but say if it turns out that this monster is undocumented, he's illegal, and this was his family, or even if it wasn't his family, this was, you know, undocumented citizens as well that's in the U.S. What do they do? Does ICE completely take care of that, or do they completely have a different? I don't know how I went all this time in true crime without sitting down and watching a trial and knowing what they would do in the case of someone that wasn't a citizen of our country. I feel kind of goofy asking, but if anybody can explain it to me, I will gladly. Could be, yeah. Could be. Yeah, I did see documentation about Sandra and about her being smothered. Um, but what I seen didn't go into any detail on her children or anything of that nature. But I mean, I trust it. I'm sure you know what you're talking about. Uh, that's not what I seen on what I looked at, but I wasn't really trying to commit it to memory anyways. I was just being nosy. Okay, so they've taken back. Oh, wow. Okay, so even if he's regardless of his status in America, if he commits a crime here, there's nothing stopping Alabama's court system from trying him here. Is that basically, do I understand that correct, Avery? I was just curious. Oh, yeah. See, I'm behind on all the articles, everything. I go cross-eyed, and I'm surprised I got through what I got through reading on the computer over there. Got you. You would think it would be the same in all the states. You would think it is. Just a second, guys. I've got someone pulling up, so all 7 of the babies are going to get going. I'm going to mute really quick. Okay, I got them all out of the bedroom, got the door shut. You're still going to hear them, but it would just take too long for me to mute them the whole entire time. Well, where this is capital murder, would that not be a federal case? They don't try something like that in federal court? The court's not my specialty. The trials, the documents, that is not my specialty. I do have a friend that is very good at that, but myself, that's not something I kind of ask everybody else, oh, what do you think's going to happen? And then I sit back and watch. Mm. Yeah, why would you question it? I would say nothing. I mean, if you've never seen any red flags, why would you? Ah, you've lived a movie, Avery. Oh, okay. So there we go. That's not necessary. So it's not capital murder and the first degree felony kidnapping. None of those are necessarily federal. So that's something that that typically anybody would be tried for in the state they committed the crime in. Do I have that correct? Where the wind blows? Pulled up a few more articles here. Ooh, getting a phone call. Oh, okay, guys. I'm getting a phone call from my aunt. I have to help with a few things with some funeral arrangements. Unfortunately, we had a couple deaths in my family this week, and we've got a funeral home Friday, Saturday, and Monday. So we've got a lot on our plates, I guess, to take care of. And as bad as I hate to, I do have to check on them, and I do have to help them out with this, of course. But I had a really good time chatting with you all and introducing this case. I hope to see some of you all covering it and being in your all's chats, and I'm interested to see how it unfolds. Yeah, so I'm gonna get off here and do the dreaded funeral stuff, and you all take care of yourselves, love each other, tell your loved ones you love them, because once they're not here to confirm they've heard it, it's a little different. And that one's hitting me hard today, but I love you guys. Take care of yourself, and I'll try to be live tomorrow. The man that had the bodies in the floorboard, they've been crying babies out of there. It's his family. Undocumented. What?
Married to a hero.
What you doing?
Saved Kelly.
What happened?
Richie's Kelly.
What happened?
So I'm sitting there cutting grass,
Oh,
and I already told you all of it, but